everyone. I am here in Washington, D.C., and it is wonderful to be with my friend.
Yeah, it's good to see
you. You may know her as Booker Squared.
Yep, Elizabeth Booker Houston, and I'm so glad you're here visiting, but we don't have the best news.
No, we just got news that there was a Supreme Court decision today that just came down 6-3, conservatives siding on the conservative side with the government, and Kagan, Jackson, and Sotomayor dissenting. Do you want to break it down for people?
Yeah, so basically what happened is a lower federal court was looking at an issue of whether they could stop the Department of Homeland Security, which is where ICE is housed, from deporting non-citizens to countries that they are not necessarily from. This is very serious. So we're talking about folks who were sent to Guantanamo Bay and then further deported to El Salvador despite not being from El Salvador. We're talking about individuals who were also sent to South Sudan.
And it is really just horrific that the government would even make this argument. A lower court stayed this, saying this was not acceptable, and had the Supreme Court step in, and DHS escalated this, and now the Supreme Court says, no, actually that's fine. Now, the reason why we wanted to talk about this is something that the U.S. government is already doing, but it is so much more serious than that, because this is something that doesn't just jeopardize the rights of non-citizens, it jeopardizes all of our rights. So will you talk about like when due process is taken away from some people, how it's taken away from everyone?
Yeah, so if we're talking about, you don't have to give due process because ICE says you're a non-citizen and they say you're from here. You're not giving people an opportunity to disprove that. So imagine if, and I gave this example on my social media page at one point, I am a Black American, I am descended from enslaved Black people here in the United States, and I have folks oftentimes ask if I'm from Eritrea, for example, because I have features that resemble folks from that part of the world, and that is one of the countries that is on the president's travel ban list. And imagine if someone from ICE decided I just looked like I'm a non-citizen, snatched me up, does not give me an opportunity to prove that I am a U.S. citizen born here, and then deports me to some random country. That's the kind of risk that we're talking about, and why it's important to give due process to everyone, because if you do not give it to everyone, then everyone is at risk.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. And we just need to all keep speaking out, keep being in the streets, keep calling our representatives, and say, we will not stand for this. We are not going to sit quietly by while this administration does these things to our neighbors.
To our neighbors. I mean, truly, these are your neighbors, your community members. And as I told Eliza just a few minutes ago when we were discussing this, this is cowardice. This is cowardice from this administration.
Truly, truly. So anyhow, keep speaking out. Also make sure you're following @Booker Squared. Yeah. And thanks for being here.